Ladies and gentlemen, to discuss the role of AI in manufacturing, please welcome Glen Kim, Director of Naval Affairs and Strategy Development at Hyundai, Tom Bosco, Chief Information Officer at Anduril, and Justin Davis, Head of Strategy at Saronic. The conversation will be moderated by Emily Nguyen of Palantir.
Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to this panel on the future of advanced technology and AI in shipbuilding. I'm Emily Nguyen, I'll be your moderator, and it's my absolute pleasure to be joined by these esteemed panelists. I've had the privilege of working with HG Hyundai, Saronic, and Anduril for a period of years now, and so I have a ton of admiration and respect for the missions of your organization, for your leadership, and for you as individuals. So I think this will be a fun and spirited conversation. Kind of as advertised, I want to talk today about shipbuilding, a critically important industry to both national security and prosperity, yet one that is not necessarily known for rapid adoption of advanced technology or AI. Yet that may be changing, spearheaded and path-found by your organizations in this space. So let's get into it. And Glenn, I'd like to start with you. Hyundai Heavy is the world's largest shipbuilding company, and it's held that distinction for many years. However, there's increasing competition from Japan, from China, even from other Korean shipyards. So how do you use advanced technology and AI to retain your edge?
My mic is on?
I think you gotta use it.
Okay. Hello, Emily, and thank you again for having me here today again. And then I'm really excited to be here to discuss about the shipbuilding and the AI things. So the shipbuilding is often seen as a very traditional and a capital and labor-intensive industry, far from the advanced or the digital technologies. But the reality is that the shipbuilding is kind of a height of engineering combining the mechanics, chemistry, and the plant systems. And as you all know, that as we are moving forward to the greener fuels like ammonia, LNG, methanol, and the hydrogen, that the shipbuilding technology is only become more advanced. And on top of that, the digital transformation technologies, especially like AI, are now essential for the ship itself. For example, like for the autonomous navigation and the operational efficiency and the predictive maintenance. The smart ship technologies are the essential and is no longer the optional. And we are driving this transformation as the part of our product digitalization strategy. And at the same time that it is equally important to have a digital transformation of our shipyard. And we see this digital transformation, as a key to succeed continuously and stay competitive in the shipbuilding industries. And that's why we launched a project, what we are calling the Future of Shipyard at the FOS, which is the a 10-year-long project along with Palantir. And then to fully modernize and digitize our shipyard. And if I elaborate a little bit on the FOS project, that the FOS project is progressing in three phases. So the phase one focused on the visible and the digitalized shipyard. So in 2023, we completed the visualization and the digitalization of our shipyard. Especially for the main manufacturing facilities, and then the workflows and the production processes. And this led to the development of the digital twin, which we are calling the Twin FOS, which enables us to have a real-time and a comprehensive overview of our operations. And through the 2026, that we are on the phase two now, and during the phase two, we are building a connected and the optimized shipyard. So Palantir's Foundry and the AIP plays a central role in this phase two, and in phase two, we are leveraging the data that we gathered from the phase one, which enables us to have fast analysis and the data-driven decision making. for the optimized performance and the operation of our shipyard. And the phase 3 aims for the intelligent and the autonomous shipyard. And we aims for the logical autonomy through the AI and the physical autonomy through the robotics during the phase 3, and which will bring us to closer to the truly smart manufacturing ecosystem. So through the FOS project, which I mentioned, that HD Hyundai is shaping the future of shipbuilding, and we are truly honored and then happy to be working with the Palantir on this journey, and together I believe that we are pioneering the future of the shipyard.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been very inspiring to kind of see how you've continued to adapt and innovate generation after generation at HD Hyundai. But Justin, at Saronic, you're sort of in a different position where you are the youngest company on stage, and you had maybe the advantage of being born digital. You know, you got started 2-3 years ago. So do you see that as an advantage, that maybe you're able to leapfrog and start out of the gate from a digital perspective?
Well, I certainly think so, and appreciate the question. We like to think that while we may be a startup, we're a startup without the training wheels that are usually associated with companies that are young and inexperienced. And so the approach that we've taken in this space is actually one that is almost the opposite of how Big Navy has approached building autonomous ships for naval warfare. And so we look at programs like NOMARS out of DARPA and the Overlord projects. Those took a lot of engineering to figure out how to get the people off of an existing ship. And we took the opposite approach by effectively taking the smallest amount of metal that we had to bend to get cutting-edge compute, networking, and perception afloat and in a relevant maritime environment. And the goal there was to begin to work on the autonomy, on the AI, and the software, and to iterate on that as fast as humanly possible. And so what we've done there is actually made great strides towards what the military refers to as sort of commander's intent-based mission autonomy. But to do that, you first have to have intelligent agents. And so we feel like we've tackled the hard part first. And in our family of systems, there's about 80% feature inheritance from one vessel up to the next as we move up size classes. And so it's a shortcut that allows us to reuse our homework, and we see those, the network architecture, the autonomy applying up the scale as we move from building robots to building boats to building ships. Mm-hmm. So to answer your question, yes, we absolutely see it as an advantage. We think that we've gotten a head start on the hard part first, not to trivialize shipbuilding. Shipbuilding is a very, very, very challenging problem, but with partnership with Palantir, we eagerly look forward to being able to basically reinvent and work from a clean sheet in what Glen was referring to as sort of what the future of shipbuilding needs to be.
Absolutely. Now, Bosco, at Anduril, you make a lot of different weapon systems, from autonomous air vehicles to force protection systems to autonomous submarines like the Dive. So to what extent is this manufacturing technology transferable across your many different product lines? Do you see it as an advantage to your maritime business that you have manufacturing operations that look and feel quite different?
Thanks for the question, Emily. So at our core at Anduril, we believe in a software-centric approach to product development. It's how we sell our products to our customer base. We have a variety of different hardware products, as you mentioned. They all have the same mission control and mission autonomy engine and lattice. And we take that same philosophy and we apply it to how we build products internally. We're building our own ecosystem or our own software internally called Arsenal OS. Arsenal OS is our single engine that powers our production cycle. It ranges from software as we buy, like the Siemens suite, the ERP suite, software as we co-build. We're working on a bunch of projects with the Palantir team on this, and projects we build in ourselves that we've completely homegrown from the start. And like, this doesn't just start at the manufacturing stage, it starts at the product ideation stage, where you want to build many thousands of units. You don't just want to build one unit of a product. So we're trying to take a software-centric approach from the beginning, our development cycle, that helps us manufacture as we scale. And what we have found, to your question, is like that approach does allow us to scale more easily across product to product, because we take a very iterative development approach around that. We don't like have a 4-year plan with this perfect feature set that we're going to like deliver in 4 years of this manufacturing software. Arsenal OS takes the reality of what is the next set of products we need to go and build, or what is the next set of capabilities we need for things like shipbuilding or maritime or other products. It builds in those feature sets, and then it allows us to nestle those into Arsenal OS in a way that all of the products we build get the advantage of that capability.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that kind of like meeting folks where they are today, addressing the reality of the world as it is, not how you wish it was. And a big part of that is, marrying up technology with people, the people that are using the technology. I know this is something that you've talked a lot about, Bosco. It's one thing to develop the technology, it's another thing to get adopted. So as you're developing Arsenal One, what have you seen in terms of adoption? Where have you seen success? Where have you seen challenges?
Yeah. We, like, as much as I like the movie Field of Dreams, it's not, enterprise software is not a if you build it, they will come scenario. Like, you actually need to treat adoption and transformation as a first-class thing. So for me, it's very tactically, I think about it in two different ways. There's the technology side of it, of most of our users and most of the people who are building our hardware products have very elegant technology experiences in their day-to-day life. And while the commercial market for production technologies is excellent in a variety of manners, production or capability enhancement and capability completeness is more of a focus on user experience. And where we've chosen to develop our own internal tools and our own internal front ends has been in places where we want to give very elegant experiences that make adoption much easier for our workforce. And that's where we put our development points. And that's on the technology side. On the people side, it's time and reps. It's like you need to spend a lot of time with your users. You need to have a culture where you go down and do desk sides and go to the floor and understand what their problems are and understand what they want the software to be. And you also need to approach them in different ways. Everyone learns differently. There's different ways to train people. Some people like e-learning, some people like desk sides, some people like mock sales or product walkthroughs. You need to kind of approach them in different ways. So what we've seen as we develop Arsenal One, we will devote resources to the time and reps of actually developing our people and helping them adopt technology. We'll do that in HQ as we develop new feature sets there. And if we develop and advance more factories across the US and abroad, we'll do it there. It's something we deeply believe we need to put resources into.
For sure. And now, Glen, at HD Hyundai, you have 3 shipyards with a significant tens of thousands of employees working on very different vessels. So given the scale and diversity of what you're building, how do you think about the introduction of new technologies?
That's an excellent point, Emily, and thank you for asking that question. So, as you know, that the few industries involve as many people and the stakeholders as the shipbuilding does. And the HD Hyundai operates 3 major shipyards in Korea and a couple of shipyards internationally. So the managing the human side of transformation is absolutely critical for us. And the digital transformation is not simply just about applying the new technologies. So to succeed, that the entire organization must share the common understanding and the commitment to the technology. And in this perspective, what matters the most is that we present a clear vision for the technology, which means that not just to how this technology will reshape our future and what the shipyard of tomorrow will look like, and then help every people of the organization to understand and believes in the vision. And secondly, that we must show how these technologies bring the real benefits, not just to the organization, but for individuals of the entire organization. So for the organization perspective, it is absolutely the return on the investment. It has to be clearly proven. And for the individuals, it is very important to show how these technologies will transform their work and improve the productivity and help their works more efficient and safe. And then to help the people embrace this change and to take the ownership out of it, that we also need to foster a culture which encourages more bold ideas and the experimentations. So at the HD Hyundai, our 3 major shipyards in Korea are jointly advancing the FOS project, which I explained earlier. and with the governance structure that ensures that nothing is overlooked. And we are very lucky to have strong support from our top management, which enables us to move forward with the confidence and the alignment across the entire organization.
Absolutely. Now, Justin, you recently at Saronic acquired Gulfcraft, a shipyard in Louisiana. And how are you thinking about the role that technology should play for the workforce in the new yard?
Sure. Yeah, we're super excited about the Gulfcraft acquisition. Now calling it internally Saronic of Louisiana, but there's a proven track record of great production that has gone on there, and we've basically gotten a warm production line ready to go, ready to start helping us prototype and develop our medium unmanned surface vessel that we're calling Moderator. If we think about the application of technology in production, we are certainly going to start developing new technologies there as we ramp up also in our development of Port Alpha, which is separate and distinct. We're still in our journey and our process of site selection for Port Alpha. But we are thinking of Saronic of Louisiana as an opportunity to prototype not just the systems, but also the system that builds the systems. And so how does that interplay with people? It's almost tertiary in that first, our design philosophy is to simplify. So our head of production likes to say that the best part is no part. If we can radically simplify the overall system, we're helping ourselves out in being able to deliver at speed and at scale. The second piece of that is going to be, how do we go fast with people? We don't want to let cutting edge production tech get in the way of producing our cutting edge products. And so second, we're going to go fast with people and figure out where the system breaks down as we scale. And then once we've got that hammered out, then we're going to start rolling in technologies for the active production itself as well. But we're super excited about the Gulfcraft acquisition, what we're going to be able to do at Saronic of Louisiana, and how that fits into our overall trajectory arch to building Port Alpha as well.
Absolutely. I think that resonates a lot with what kind of Bosco explained about meeting folks where they are today and then bringing them along for the journey. So I love that philosophy. Now, given that we're in our nation's capital with a lot of different policymakers, I wanted to turn the discussion to kind of policy and what that can do to kind of enable your operations, your missions, help your teams go faster. So maybe, Glen, we can start with you. Of course, South Korea is one of the U.S.'s strongest allies militarily and otherwise, and it's a leader in shipbuilding. So what role do you think that HD Hyundai and other shipbuilders from allied nations can play, should play in U.S. naval posture?
I appreciate the question, Emily. And we understand the importance of strengthening the U.S. defense industrial base and improve the U.S. naval posture. And the HD Hyundai would like to be the part of these rebuilding efforts. And we believe that the allied shipbuilding cooperation is important in both near-term and the long-term perspective. So while the HD Hyundai is actively pursuing the investment opportunities in the U.S., and we are also working very closely with the U.S. industry and the U.S. The academic institutions, for example, to bring more capabilities and to strengthen the shipbuilding, the fundamentals. Then the question might be then how we can work close with the U.S. to bring more immediate capabilities for the U.S. Navy, and we should be aiming to find a creative and politically acceptable ways to leverage the allies' existing capacity and the capabilities until as a stopgap until we are able to shift those capabilities to the U.S. When the capacity is reached. And while there are regulatory restrictions, as you know, that our hope is that we can show the American people that these are the interim steps that will eventually bring more capacity and American jobs to the U.S.
Very cool. And Justin, I'd be curious about your thoughts on policy and government. Are there particular changes that you would like to see or like to see accelerated that would help your mission?
Well, there's certainly a number of different kind of angles to that question. And so I want to highlight first sort of from a a domestic regulatory standpoint, we've got an ongoing dialogue with the Coast Guard, and they've been super favorable in terms of making sure that industry has room to innovate and being open to kind of an ongoing dialogue to help shape the direction of the technology without cramping or restricting kind of technology innovation. So super happy with the relationship and the policy perspective from that side. The other side would be some of the legislative proposals that are currently in process, both foreign military sales reform and then also the SHIPS Act. And we think that all of those are great initiatives and really supportive of all the policy recommendations and the opportunities at play there. It's certainly an area that's in need of some help, that's been kind of overlooked or has atrophied over the course of decades. And we think there's an appropriate amount of attention and urgency around it, and happy to be part of it as those various pieces of legislation play out.
For sure. Bosco, maybe the same question for you. At Anduril, what do you see in terms of government and policy?
I will second a lot what Justin said. We are very supportive of the current administration's continued push to move the defense base forward. We've been happy with the executive orders around leveraging commercial capabilities and advancing the production of weaponry, the SHIPS Act, and reforming foreign military sales. And we've been happy with the bipartisan congressional support for things like the Forge Act. So we're generally happy with that. And our core belief is there is a policy ecosystem that will enable American manufacturing like Anduril and others to be successful today. And it's really executing against what is outlined. It is seeing some of the policies around buying commercial being more enacted on a more rapid basis. It's seeing the private sector continue to advance resilient supply chains and seeing the private sector advance production technologies. And it's also seeing more investment in critical infrastructure. And it's the policy ecosystem is set up for us to be successful, and we're very excited to be a part of that, and we're very optimistic that the frameworks that exist today can help us move forward and help us move American manufacturing forward.
That's great. Now, maybe to kind of close out, or the kind of last round of questions, it's obviously a very exciting time for AI, and so where do you see AI technology having the most impact on your business into the future? What are you kind of most excited about? Maybe we can start with you, Glenn.
Thank you, Emily, for the question again. And then across our shipyards, there is a tremendous excitement for the new technology, especially about the AI. And these days, that it seems like that people believe that the AI can solve almost any problems. But the reality is that we just cannot build the future of a shipyard with AI alone. So the solid foundation must come first, which means that we have to get our core systems in the shipbuilding, like a CAD, PLM, and the ERP systems get ready and connected. And by integrating those core systems with the Palantir's ontology framework, then we can create an environment where the AI can truly be effective and efficient. And when the AI has access to the high quality and well-structured data, that's when a true AI-powered manufacturing becomes possible. And HD Hyundai is committed to completing the FOS project, which I mentioned earlier, with the Palantir, whose the ontology-based approach is exceptional and outstanding. And we are very confident that we can achieve our ambitious goal, which is aiming for a 30% increase in productivity and a 30% reduction in the read time, which means that ultimately that we can build more ships, more cost-competitive ships faster than the competitors, and that's the real value of the AI. Real business value of the AI in the shipbuilding, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the foundation that you've laid with the Twin FOSS gives you the opportunity to deploy really any type of AI technology, whether that's computer vision or optimization or LLMs on top of it. It provides that kind of foundational base. What about you at Saronic?
Well, I feel like asking what my favorite application of AI here at an AI conference is sort of like asking which child is my favorite. I don't know if that's a fair question. I would say that, to your point earlier about us being kind of born digital as a company, we've had the ability to take the approach and lay the foundation, sort of like Glen was alluding to. From the get-go, everything is measured, everything is instrumented, and so having the foundation to be able to incorporate AI into everything that we do, from workflows to our perception to our mission planning to our shipbuilding, is going to be native to how we approach and how we advance as a company. If I had to pick just one, equal, but more equal than the others, I'd like to highlight what we're working on with your team at Palantir, which is really an opportunity to take a greenfield approach to shipbuilding and maybe skip over some of the bumps and bruises and we'll say scar tissue that may have developed from an analog approach to the industry. And so I think what excites us the most is the greenfield opportunity to redefine what shipbuilding could be.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So similar to what Glenn said, the first bit of this is that we believe that traditional manufacturing approaches and expertise and some of those core systems are like the foundations. You can't really focus on AI transforming the industry until you actually like get the manufacturing expertise right. And like that's the first and foremost. We think that goes a long way for how we build hardware products and our approach. That said, like there are things that once you have that down are very exciting to build on top of. And one area that I'm most interested in is more of the critically complex AI workflows that are doing more than just the raw aggregation of information and summarization of that, but actually understanding and reasoning about complex topics. So as an example of this, we're working with a startup in New York called Arena that they're attempting to build an electrical test engineer AI, and they're teaching their AI engine how to understand the basics of electrical engineering. It's a really hard thing to do. It's a hard challenge. They're pretty ambitious, and we've been working with them over the course of like 6 or 7 months, and we're almost at the production stage. But you could spit in a board schematic, it could spit out a test plan and expected values, and instead of having your electrical engineering test team like have to create everything manually, you can now have them as like editing and moving much faster through your development process. And we're working on things with Palantir like that. We're working on a couple other vendors like that, where we think these like deeply complex AI workflows that are more in the reasoning engines that understand like these topics like electrical engineering are kind of what's going to accelerate the pace of development and the pace of manufacturing that we're very excited about. So excited to do more of those types of work with you and with others.
Phenomenal. Yeah, I think the common theme is really kind of taking the expertise that exists in-house, the expertise that has been cultivated across manufacturing engineers, production engineers, design engineers, and really incorporating that and leveraging that in an AI context offers tremendous promise. Great. Well, I think that just about brings us home. So I want to thank you guys for your expertise and for taking the time to share this. And thank you to the organizers of SCSP for giving us the opportunity to share a little bit about these emerging trends in a really critical industry.